All right, another episode of Conversate After Dark. Tay, what's up with you?
Everything's wonderful with me. What's going on with you?
It's all good. It's all good. Tell people where they can find us.
You can find us at Conversate After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on a show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at CVAD the podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. Listen to past episodes. Make sure you tell a friend because we know we need to grow those followers. We get to raise those numbers up. But Tay, let's kick it off with an icebreaker.
All right. Let's go after dark.
Okay.
Do you like to give or receive facials?
um, it's not necessary. If she wants it, then yes. I've had partners that like for you to finish ejaculate on different parts of their body. I would prefer to do that than to have her swallow because what for me, I'm speaking for me, and I think there's some men who are like me. When you are ejaculating, the dick is very, very sensitive, right?
Mhm.
And with the mouth on it, it could be almost too much. You know how you can get to a point where like pleasure becomes like painful? It could
Yeah.
be just a little bit too much if she's still trying to suck while you busting off. I'm gonna just go ahead and just jack it for me or let me jack it that way I can enjoy it. But I get, there's a lot of women who like to swallow and all that type of stuff. But to me, it's not my favorite because number one, I'm not gonna kiss you. There's like a cool down period after you then took it in your mouth, right? There's a cool down period, and I'm gonna want to kiss you before we go to bed, and I really can't do that after you take that. So I'd much rather get the facial or put it on your breast or your ass or stomach or whatever, because we can clean that off, right? And then we can go back to we can tongue kiss again or whatever. But once you got the money shot and you took it in your mouth, it's tomorrow before we tongue kissing again. I gotta let all that go.
Oh my gosh.
What's wrong with that? That's me.
Nothing.
Michelle said, "Oh my, Marv." I mean, it's true. It's true. Like there are some dudes who like that. There's some dudes like with like I don't know what the term is called. I think we probably talked about it before in the nasty or normal, but they like the tongue kiss after busting in a woman's mouth. Me, no, I'm not doing that. And and I've even had women who would say, like, I'm not kissing you after you went down on me because they are wet or whatever. That's childish. That's like me saying, like, I wouldn't kiss you after you done, suck my dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll definitely do that. But once you take the jizz, hey, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Okay, back to the actual question, which was about facials. I don't mind them. If it's my man, I don't mind them. I've actually asked for them from, somebody who was my man, but
It's gotta be your man though. You can't have your side, your jump off, can't bust on your face.
everybody don't deserve everything.
The bus off, the jump off gets neck and below.
Exactly.
Let's see what they have to say in the comments. TJ said, "Busting off gives new meaning to busting." Hey, bust off in that mouth. You know what I'm saying? So, Tyler, did this guy just say he doesn't want to kiss after his girl swallows? Wow. Yes. I don't want to taste my own jizz. No, I'm good. I mean, I eat good. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna taste good. I ain't never had no complaints about how it tastes, but nah, you keep all that. So Tyler said, now the jump off does not get facial privileges.
Nope.
Well, the jump off don't give. So the jump is that because the jump off has to strap up?
That's one thing, and it's just they don't get everything. I
You
don't
don't
give my
go.
all to somebody who's not, mine.
You So the jump off. Okay, so the jump off is just like what once one and done basically.
No, not necessarily one and done, but that's not my. I mean, he's not my man typically. So I mean, I'm not gonna expect him to give me everything. So I'm not gonna. Yeah,
Then you go with
no.
that holding back stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't you know, we talked about that the last episode. You was like, I'm not going to give. What did you say? You're not going to give your all. You know what I'm saying? The first time.
Because that's how you create stalkers, first of all. But second of all, yes, I mean, yeah, I just feel the person for the first time doesn't deserve my all. But that's just me.
Does the friends with benefits get to go wrong?
Nah, depends on how long, but I would say typically
You
no.
said no.
Typically no, but it depends on how long we've been friends with benefits.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I've never gone, raw with with a friend with benefits. I have, but you know, it is what it is.
Wrap it before you tap it, y'all. I mean,
Of course, everybody should practice safe sex.
unless you fucking me, because I wouldn't go wrong.
But like we talked about last week, I prefer condom sex anyway. So
Which is crazy. Which is crazy. But hey, but that's you. So let me see. Let me see what they got to say. So Tyler said, nah, she doesn't do one and done. TJ said, well, we like how we taste. The kiss afterwards is delish. Is that true, Tay?
yes, yes.
All right. All right. Stacy, nope, not receiving a facial, but I would definitely give a facial. I would tell you where you can finish. Okay. She said she'll give a facial. All right. All right. All right. Y'all some freaks. So Tyler said the best sex I've had is definitely condom sex. Hey, listen, that's
I
fast.
just had this revelation, so I've been talking about it. So
That's the sad state of affairs, dude. Because I don't know about you now. Because once I hit it raw, it was almost like no turning back. It was like no turning back. And then you get to college and you start having scares and shit, and you like,
Mhm.
I got to wrap it up, man. Plus we need to be safe out here.
Exactly.
But hey,
Yeah.
um, I saw today where Shaq was on the podcast, him and Country Wayne, and Shaq talked about how I'm paraphrasing, he's never opened up to a woman that he's been in a relationship or not opened up 100%. And the reason why is because he didn't want to be brought back up again in the future. Basically, he didn't want his vulnerability to be weaponized against him. He didn't say it in those words, but
Mhm.
that's basically the gist of what he was saying. Have you encountered men who have been guarded with their feelings about whatever, maybe their feelings towards you or what's going on with them personally, mentally, emotionally, because they didn't feel safe enough to open up to you because they felt as if it would come back?
I can't speak for the reasons, but I can definitely tell when somebody's not opening up to me, and I can't be fully myself if I don't feel that if the vulnerability is being reciprocated. I can't reciprocate. I can't give you if I don't feel that that's being reciprocated. So I've definitely been in relationships with people who were holding back, and I could tell, but I can't speak to the reasons why.
See, I'm a Pisces, man, and we emotional and sensitive. And there's been a good portion of my life where I have been a people pleaser. And part of being a people pleaser is you talk a lot. You talk. And I found this out because I often look at, people like yourself who are comfortable in settings and don't have to just talk, 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 and can just be there. And here I am, and I'll tell all my business and I'll talk. And I was like, but damn, why am I this way? Why am I always talking? Now, part of it is I have I feel like I have a duty to lead by example by, talking about my mistakes and things that I went through. Part of it is I don't really care about people's judgment. I do a little bit, but not really. Um,
Mhm.
but then as I researched it is, why am I talking so much? Why am I, telling my business in inappropriate situations? and there's a people and it's a people pleasing aspect as to why people do that. Now I have been working on that so that I'm, not as talkative when people don't deserve to have just complete access to my thoughts and emotions. Um, but in a relationship, I can't be in a relationship where I can't be myself and talk about what I want to talk about. But I do think that there are, we talked about boundaries and
Mhm.
creating boundaries to other people. What I've learned to do is I need to create boundaries for myself because that vulnerability that women say that they want from men, a lot of women say they want that, but there's a good number of women who cannot handle that. And that's not, I'm not casting aspersions on them or, placing judgment on them. They just not, some of my boys, like I don't open up to them because I'm like, they're not really equipped to even really handle what I'm saying. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah.
So if I put that on them and then, the response is either something that is nonsensical, non-helpful, or you just get the blank stare, then I really just wasted my time. So I feel where Shaq is coming from because there have been times when I've had people weaponize what I've said or things that I've, given to them against me. But I still think that's a sad way to exist in a relationship.
Yeah. I agree. Because that's happened to me. And again, I'll say I've never dated a woman. So so I think I always say people do tend to do the things when, tend to do the same things, men and women. If they're not healed within themselves, if they're not mature within themselves, I think it's a people thing. And the reason, I mean, okay, I'm gonna say things have been thrown back into my face, things that I've been vulnerable about in the past. So I noticed that I don't open up to people, men or women. I have a hard time. I have a really, really hard time opening up to people and being vulnerable with people. And we always talk about our mental health and growing and healing and all that stuff. I've learned over the years that that's not a good way to be in a relationship. Um, so so because one person hurt you, you can't hold that against the next person.
Right.
You have to give people a chance. That's the risk of opening up your heart to people. It can get broken.
I think for me, that's why I have become a lot more selective with the people who I decide not just to share myself with, but who I decide to give my energy to. It's a running joke with, all of my friends, and Tay's been a witness to this. I get annoyed and agitated easy. Like on the show, you can tell that I get on Tay's nerves, whatever, but like Tay's much more patient with people than I am in general.
I
And
just don't show it.
yeah, well, that goes back to me being, an emotional Pisces, right? But I think because I have been burned in that regards before, and because of the lessons I've learned in terms of, okay, you can't really just give everybody full access because, like I said, they can't really handle it. To me, that's that's how I know when the person is somebody who could be a potential, soulmate or relationship. Um, I have friends who definitely I can open up to. And I sometimes I'll share things, but sometimes they may be going through something.
Mhm.
And I'm that strong friend. And when you're the strong friend, people have a tendency to just emotionally dump on you. And I've learned that for the most part I can handle that. But then there's times when it's like, look, I can't take it on today. If you want to cry, if you want to do whatever, I know normally I got you, but this week I can't do it. And that's something that I'm working on setting those boundaries with my friends because when you're that type of person, people, they don't even really ask how you doing. They just call you like, man, I had a hard week or this and this. They don't, it's just like, well, you're always fine. You're always strong. And that's what people say, check on your strong friend.
Right.
And I think in relationships that can happen as well.
Mhm.
How many times are you in a relationship, long-term relationship, and you all are functioning and because once you get into a groove and y'all living together, it's like, okay, how was your work? Work was fine. How was your day? Work was fine. Where you want to eat? what have you. But how many times do we sit there and really say, what's going on with you? Is something bothering you without that person demonstrably showing that something is affecting them?
Right. That's a good question. I think there are times that we can start to take our partner for granted, or we may just get into a rut where, or just a routine where everything is just the same in and out. And we do have to make it a point to ask those questions. But in a way, in a way, I can feel where Shaq is coming from only because I've heard horror stories about when people get divorced. You know, when you first get into a relationship and maybe years into a relationship, you know, this person is your ride or die, your comforter, your confidant, they're everything. And then something goes wrong within the relationship, and when it's the divorce time, that's a lot of times when those vulnerabilities can be, you know, attacked and, you know.
And it's a sad situation because while I didn't have the horror story that a lot of people had, it's still very hurtful. It's
Hmm.
not a fun place. And, especially if you've been married for a considerable amount of time, because there are a lot of memories that you have with this person. A lot of times, people that I know, we got married fairly young. Like you get married in your mid 20s, whatever. To me, that's still young. And
Hmm.
you make it to your 40s, you basically grown up with this person. You spend more time with this person than you have, other people in your life. And that whole part of your life is now those memories, whether they're good or bad, you got to put them all away because, at least for me, they're all tied together. So it's definitely a tough situation. Let me see what everybody says in the chat. Then yeah, I've experienced it many times. How can we get through if we don't discuss things? Brother Ron says that guarded space often has to do with trust. I've been there. TJ agreed, Marv. It's unfortunate. Michelle, I agree, Marv. Michelle says, I can't trust someone who is not open to being vulnerable. Can you
Yeah.
trust somebody that can't be vulnerable, Tay?
Nope.
Got you. Danielle, I definitely had to work on this the last few months. I've had to just sit and rest in my feelings without having to worry about others. I needed me time. TJ, I have selective amnesia. I choose not to remember conversations, but also I'm hella forgetful. Stephanie, I don't know if that's supposed to be funny, TJ, but we giggled. I'm sorry if it was supposed to be funny. Stephanie said, I found that white people can betray you. Often it's a misalignment of, oh, she didn't say white people. That's brother Marvin Umar Johnson reading that. Stephanie said, I found that while people can and do betray you, often it's a misalignment of expectations.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And that I think that comes with it's an old management phrase, know your personnel. And I think that goes back to where I say, know who you can share information with and who you can't.
Right.
What if I were to tell you, Tay, that for some guys, I'm gonna speak for guys, the perfect person to open up to
Hmm.
is your side piece. Would you? You laughing, but I'm being honest.
I've heard that, and I can see why that would be. And it's usually the reason why people have side pieces anyway. It's because your partner, your mate, your husband, your wife, or whatever, usually becomes that person who gets the everyday you, the routine you. And your side piece is usually the fun person, the person that gets, I don't want to say the best part of you, but sometimes it's the best part of you. So I can see that. And they can't hold judgment to you because they're in a they're in a bad situation with you in the first place. So I mean, I can see that.
I'm gonna
I
say,
don't agree with it. Let me say
well,
that. I don't agree
well,
with
I
it,
agree
but
with it.
I can see it.
You don't agree with it being true, or you don't agree that it's right.
I don't agree that it's right.
I
I
agree.
know people do it, but I don't agree that it's right.
I can agree with that. It's not right. Um, I'll say this. Hypothetically speaking, a good side piece wants you to stay with your main partner because they got their own thing going on. If you're smart, I mean, you shouldn't have a side piece that doesn't have anything going for them who could like tear your whole house and life down because they get upset. But I've talked to people that their side piece gave them relationship advice. You should do this with her. Like you was wrong. You need to do better by her by this. Yeah, yeah, I'm fucking her husband, but I don't want him. You go ahead and stay with her. So I'm gonna give you advice so y'all can heal y'all situation. You laughing? I'm
No,
telling you that actually happens.
I know. I've given friends with benefits of dating advice, not relationship advice, because they weren't in relationships. But I gave them dating advice, so yeah, I can totally see that happening.
Listen, and I mean, and it's not right. You should be open and honest with your main partner because honesty is should be number one at this
Right.
stage of my life. We talked about our thoughts on monogamy, but whatever it is, like be honest, tell me the truth. Now you have to be willing to accept the consequences of your truth, right?
Right.
It hurt my feelings, it may devastate me, it may piss me off, but I found that the lying piece, the lying portion is much more hurtful than whatever truth that you may want to share with me.
Exactly, because the lying adds more than just whatever you did to hurt me. Now you're insulting my intelligence.
Mhm.
Now you're making me play detective when I'm not a cop. Like, what I mean? That's for me, lying is just dumb.
Yeah, yeah, it is. But I mean, it takes a lot of courage to be honest with somebody.
It does.
It takes a lot of courage because you don't want to hurt their feelings. And
Mhm.
oftentimes, when I have lied, it wasn't because I was trying to get over. It was because I didn't want to hurt them. And I know that may sound like bullshit, but that's the truth.
No, I get that. I still think, and I'm saying this as someone who has lied to someone in the past, I still feel that lying is a selfish act because a lot of times you don't want to hurt their feelings because you don't want the consequence of what they're hurting their feelings will bring.
Yeah, because you don't want to feel bad about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly.
For sure, for sure. Let's see what they have to say in the chat. Danielle said it definitely happens. People, getting good advice from their side piece. Brother Sky said, as a former regular side piece, I was always giving advice to make home better because I knew it wasn't long term for us. Salute to you, sir.
Mhm.
Michelle, definitely need to be honest at this age. Stephanie, I've given all my casual partners dating advice and supported their pursuits of other women. All right. And Danielle, yes, please don't insult my intelligence. I respect honesty.
Mhm. Yes,
So I'm hoping people are being honest this ripe age. And I think that comes with maturity.
it
As
does.
I know for me, I was talking to a young guy the other day, and he was, we were talking about monogamy, and he was like, "Hey, I want to approach, this girl that I'm dating. We like each other, but at a stage in our lives and our careers where it's just not lining up, and I enjoy her company, but she can't commit to what I want in a relationship, but I still want to kick it with her." And what me and another of my homeboys told him was the best thing you could do is be honest.
Mhm.
That is, tell her, listen, I still want to kick it with you, have sex, whatever. But I may see other people as well. And she's either going to agree to it or she's not.
Right.
But I will tell you, not from an egotistical male perspective, there will be somebody who will be willing to be a part of that because you're being honest,
Yes. I agree.
you
I
know,
agree.
and that just comes with maturity. That comes with maturity. You got to be honest, and you got to be honest with yourself. Like,
Mhm.
be honest with what you can do, because a lot of people out here thinking they can have, I got my main piece, I got my side piece. We didn't talk about everybody. I got a main, I got a side, and a jump off. And at this age, can you really manage all those personalities? Could you manage that, Tay?
Uh, I can. But I'm someone who can flow between monogamy and poly relationships anyway. So I can. Um, but I'm different. I've always known I'm different. So
Okay, so let me phrase it this way.
okay.
I think it may be easier for y'all. Well, then let me not say that. Can you physically
Hmm.
take care of three partners at the same time?
At the same time,
Not I'm not talking about like, a gangbang situation. I'm
okay.
talking I'm talking about like I got my main partner who I need to satisfy their needs.
Hmm.
I got my side piece friends with benefits who, there's some needs that we agree to, meeting, and then there's the jump off, right?
Hmm.
You woman enough to handle all of them?
Yes. I mean, I've already said I tend to flow between both worlds. So I can be in a monogamous relationship with one person and have no problem. And I can be poly and as long as everybody's being safe
We
and
talking about the
honest,
same thing. I ain't talking about emotionally, Tay.
I
And
know what you're talking about. I know what
okay,
you're talking about. I am not slow. I know exactly what you're talking about.
okay, but yeah, but you still being political with the shit though.
That's how I am anyway.
Ron said Tay's
That's
a
and
pimp.
no, and you cut me off. I was saying
My
as
bad.
long as everyone is safe and honest, and yeah, we can do
I
that.
think I think at this age, I definitely could handle multiple partners. Um, we'd have to set expectations though.
We
Like
do.
I'm cool with just, hey, listen, let's go to the movies, grab some ice cream, and then I'll see you later. I ain't gotta fuck you at this age. I ain't gotta fuck you every time I see you. I
Okay.
don't. Motherfuckers can judge me if they want to, but I don't. I just ain't. I don't have to. And then there's weeks where shit I may smash. You get some dick. You get some what Oprah do. You get some dick. You get some dick. You get some dick. It may just happen that way. It may flow that way. But I think there may be some guys this age like, bro, are you really satisfying your woman at home? Are you digging her down to her? Because we talked about it before. Women in
Mhm.
what is it? When does it start? Is it early 40s or mid 40s, Tay, when y'all sex drive just goes through the roof?
Some women is 30s. And I mean, and that's another reason why I say I can do that because I've always had a high sex drive.
Okay.
And then I have noticed the change after 35, it went up. And a lot of men, it goes down. So to balance it out, hey, let me be able to go out and get somebody else when you don't feel like it.
When you say it like that, it's a cold world, right?
Hey, I'm being honest though. You can take it or leave it.
But don't say it though. Like I get it, but don't say it.
But I would never say it like that to
You
someone.
understand where I'm coming from? Cause like,
Yeah.
you tell me like if I'm like shit, I'm watching the game, and you like, what's up with it? And you like, man, listen, I ain't in
No,
the
no, no. I wouldn't do that.
and I'm like, I'm not in the mood today. You like, well, all right, I'm finna go holler at Bobby. Before you get out the door, I'm grabbing shit, my ass, bend over.
I mean, I wouldn't do that if I'm like right there with somebody. I wouldn't leave unless I was married. That's a different situation. But if I was right there with a guy, I wouldn't be like, "All right, peace, I'm out." Even though I did do that in my 20s,
Man,
but that's a different story.
that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Michelle said not the Oprah dick giveaway. Yeah. Just like Danielle said she was in her 30s when her sex drive kicked up.
Yep.
And TJ said, I don't have the capacity to be in a polyamorous situationship. I find people irksome. Also, when I want it and can't get it, you won't like me when I'm angry. That's why you got to have, you got to have the side, because normally the side piece is ready and willing.
Yeah.
Normally. Have you ever lost a side piece because y'all started talking and then you realize like this motherfucker get on my nerves?
No, because I can usually tell, and I can't even have.
Maybe not a
Well,
side
I've
piece.
never had a side piece. Let me put that out there. But I can't even I can't be around somebody who annoys me, and I can usually tell pretty soon after meeting somebody if you're going to annoy me or not. And a lot of people annoy me, so it usually doesn't even get that far. So yeah, I've never had someone annoy me unless again, in terms of relationships, when you get into those moments where y'all might be arguing or whatever, in that moment, they may irk me, but not as a whole.
Okay, so let's define it. So you got your main partner, right?
Hmm.
And then you got your side piece. The side
Hmm.
piece is a significant relationship. There's
I
feelings.
would say that. I would agree with that.
Okay. Friends with benefits. There's some love there, right? But y'all more friends. Sometimes those lines can get blurred.
Hmm.
Then you have is a jump off and a fuck buddy the same thing?
Um, I would put jump off under a fuck buddy. I would say a fuck buddy if you're talking about those just those words. I'm a literal person. The definition of those words, the buddy part makes it friend to me. So I would put those closer to friend with benefits.
Okay. So I'm gonna go off your definition. So I'm gonna say the jump off. In the past, I've had a jump off in the past. And we had a good, like, what's up? You free? Yeah, I'm free. Come through. You know, sex was good for both of us. And then, what's the post-coital aftercare? There really wasn't no aftercare. It was kind of like, let me go clean up and I'll holler at you later. And it was
Hmm.
fair. It was fair on both sides because, whenever somebody needed to fix, they could do it. But then one day, we both got lazy and we started talking.
Okay.
And Tay, you know me, and I'm opinionated and can talk, right? And I
Mhm.
could tell, I was like, yeah, I just talked myself right out of this situation.
Oh
You
my
never had
god.
that happen to you?
Um, again, no, because usually I can tell, just from a few interactions, I can tell if somebody is gonna get on my nerves or not.
You can't fuck somebody that gets on your nerves?
No. I don't even want to be around somebody who I keep telling y'all, I don't like people like that. So yeah, no, I can't I can't do that.
Danielle said, I've never had a jump off. TJ said, my former side piece was amazing. However, he kept trying to do boyfriend stuff with me. Please stop trying to make it last forever, as this is a hit it and quit it situation. Yo, you got to be kind to the side piece, TJ. Yeah, you got to be kind to the side piece. You can't dog out the side piece.
You can't dog them out, but I think that's how a lot of people um I want to say a lot of men so bad, but I don't like to play those gender roles. But it's usually typically men. That's how men usually get in trouble because they're treating the side or the main side, whatever you want to call her, like she's the next wife, and then she starts to think it. And so sometimes you got to let people know where they stand, I guess.
Tell you something. Let me tell you something. Your side piece must know two things. Now, this is from the old school players, okay?
Mhm.
That she is that the number one thing that she needs to understand is that number one gets everything. She gets the money, she gets the time and attention. If she wants it, if she calls, I'm going. Number one gets everything. And the second thing that you need to know, if you're the side piece, is that you will never ever be number one. You're always going to be a side piece. Now that goes for men and women, right?
Right.
Because there's some dudes to be like, you know what? Fuck your husband. I want to fight your husband, and I don't like how he treating you and this, that,
Mhm.
let them have a relationship. You just here for that release. That's what you're there for. So
Right.
that's what we need to know. Number one gets everything. Number two will never be number one. You do that, yeah, you got to keep those. CJ says about the boundaries. That's right. Sky said,
But go ahead.
you go ahead, Tay.
So I have a friend who always says that's why you gotta make sure y'all on the same page periodically. You gotta make sure that the side piece knows
Mhm.
at all times, hey, it is what it is.
Open communication,
Yes.
for sure. For sure. Sky said you don't dog them out, but you have to keep it 100 and keep the boundaries set,
Yeah.
right? Stephanie definitely experienced the opposite. Got too close to the jump off and we became friends. So I put a stop to the physical interactions and now we're just friends. Man, fuck all that, man. Shit. That sounds like a demotion. We went from a jump off to me not getting it. Hell, I want to be the jump off to the friends with benefits. Like shit, don't demote me. Hell, let me go back to being an asshole so I can get that. So I can
Oh my gosh.
yeah, but and I think not only do you need to be honest with yourself about what you can handle in terms of energy. When I say energy, I'm talking about people's personalities, their emotional baggage, and everything else. You also got to be realistic about what you can do physically
Right.
as well. You know, can
That's true.
you can you have two or three women at the same time, my G? Without the royal honey or the blue pill? Can you because like our homegirl, I don't want to say her name, but she said it. She said, listen, a lot of you men can't handle a threesome, especially if y'all trying to be safe, because you're gonna have to switch condoms between women, and in that switch
Mhm.
of the condom, you're gonna go soft
Yeah.
at this age, right? But can you actually handle it? Some of us got a little bit more gut. Can you hit all them positions that you need to hit? Hey, and that's where you get mad, Tay. When you just like, hey, I know I'm handling it. I know I'm handling my business, but you
Mhm.
might be able to hit it this way, and I can't do it that way. You
Oh
talk
my
about
gosh.
you talk about I'm gonna go holler at Bobby. Fuck Bobby.
And that's why at a certain age, some men don't need to have those extra pieces on the side.
Yeah.
I'm joking, but not really.
Nah, I mean, yeah, you true. It's true. You know what I'm saying? If you can't handle it at home, shit. Number like you need to be able to take care. And it might be a situation where number one wants you to go, go with her. Because,
That happens.
go ahead and go with her, what I'm saying. Go have fun. That way you ain't bothering me, which is a sad situation.
Yeah.
That's a sad situation. You ever been that way, Tay? You just like, hey, go ahead. I know you got some on the side. Go ahead and hit it.
Um, not in turn, not because I didn't want it. Only because I told you I like to hear the stories. And I was in the alternative lifestyles at one point in time. And so yeah, I like the feedback. What y'all do? How was it? I like to hear the stories.
That shit made
One
me
of my kinks.
that shit made me uncomfortable. I had an ex-girlfriend that she wanted to hear it. And she was, how did she respond? Then what'd you do?
Mhm.
And it was almost like I was uncomfortable because like normally, you don't share that stuff with I don't want you telling me. I know there's some guys, I know there's some guys that want to hear details, right? I'm not
Mhm.
one of them. I'm fine with you like saying, hey, I'm going on a trip with Bobby. We'll be
Mhm.
gone for 3 days. And all right, cool. I'm gonna assume that y'all getting it in and y'all doing whatever. I don't need the details. I don't need to torture myself that way.
Yeah.
Because during those 3 days with you with Bobby, guess what? I'm gonna be sleeping and snoring and farting in peace. I can go to the strip club. I can do whatever, right? Hey,
Mhm.
you Bobby's problem for 3 days. But I don't want to hear details. And my friend, she wanted to hear details, and I just wasn't that comfortable with sharing.
Okay. But just because you share with her doesn't mean she's going to share with you. So you said you're a people pleaser. You said you could have indulged her fantasy.
Oh, and we were like that. Because I told her, I was like, I don't want to hear nothing about what you do. She was like, okay, but I want to hear about what you do. But
Yeah.
it was still that, we talked about that honesty and not wanting
Hmm.
to hurt somebody's feelings. What if
Yeah.
what if I share too much? It was that walking that tightrope. I guess I just didn't trust her 100% to not
Mm.
flip out on what I was doing. Like, you sure this ain't a setup? You sure? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't need to hear details though. But go ahead and
Most people don't want details.
what'd you say?
Again, I said most people don't want details, but again, I know I'm different. I've always been different, so it's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah. Okay, let's see what they got to say in the in the chat before we wrap up. Stephanie, how is hearing the details different than watching your partner with someone else? Let me say that again. Stephanie said, "How is hearing the details different than watching your partner with someone else? Voyeurism or threesome?"
I like both.
Tay said she likes it all. For me, I'm not a I'm not a swinger. So I'm down to do the threesome.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a difference when it comes to that. Hopefully I'm doing a threesome. It's a male, female, female threesome. I've done the male, male, female threesome, and we were all friends. So, there wasn't the potential for jealousy and that type of situation. So that's how I would classify it as different, Stephanie. Ron said the juggle game can consume you mentally. The juggle game, I can't read. Ron said the juggle game can consume you more mentally than physically. That is absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. You know, Especially if you're trying to have a relationship.
Hmm.
If you're trying to have an actual relationship where you're like, how was your day? How was your day? How was your day? And trying to keep all the details straight, man, that'll wear you out. Mm-mm. That'll wear you
Yeah.
out.
I agree with that.
TJ said Marvin ain't falling for the okey doke. I sure ain't. I sure ain't. I sure ain't. Not at all. Not at all. But hey, we said we was gonna wrap it up, but Stephanie brought it up. The male, male, female threesome. We had somebody that wanted us to talk about it. I think we talked about it 1,000 times.
Hmm.
Do you feel there's a difference when it comes to the male, male, female versus the male, female, female threesome and how it's looked at?
Yes, there definitely is a difference. Matter of fact, there's a difference in how you put those initials. People don't even want you to put male, male, female. They want you to say male,
A
female,
female,
man.
male.
Right.
So if
Because
it's male, male, female, does that mean that the men are interacting too?
usually,
Okay.
usually,
Okay.
or at least that's how it's perceived.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't matter then if it's FMF or if it's MFF. It's only when it's
It
MMF.
it doesn't in my mind, it's all the same. But I know that, there are double standards within society. So
Oh,
that's one of those things that
I see the difference
yeah,
because if it's FMF, their focus is on you
yeah,
and they're not interacting with each other. But if it's MFF, then the women are interacting as well. Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I've done the MFM. Is that right?
Yes.
Say,
Yes.
um, I used to be very, like I said in the show before, I used to be very conservative and judgmental. Um, Participated in that. I mean, it was cool. I didn't, there was no judgment amongst the parties at all. I think the only, the rules were is like, look, you stay over there, dude. I'll stay over here. You know what I'm saying? And other than that, let's have fun. I think people look down upon it because I think women, in particular Black women, because that's our audience, their voicing of how they want to be pleased has
Hmm.
always been suppressed. And
Right.
in particular, having two guys at one time or more than two guys at one time has been really taboo. And, and some people look at it as, like I said, what was the last show I said, I love a hoe. A lot of people will say that is whorish,
Mm-hmm.
and I think most of the people that's well, I can't even say that. A good number of the people that would say that are women.
Yeah, there are times where I think women tend to judge other women harsher than men at times when it comes to sexuality. I've noticed that. I won't say all women, but there are some.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I don't think it's something that should be judged. I definitely, we're gonna put this to bed. It definitely ain't a damn train.
Mhm.
A train is, hey, one dude goes in, he gets done, he leaves, another dude comes in, and that's the train situation. If y'all are
Right,
interacting, fellas, I hate to say it, I hate to bust your bubble, but it was a threesome, my G.
right,
You had a threesome. But
right.
anyway, you got a nasty or normal today, Tay?
Actually, I had not a nasty or normal, but would you or wouldn't you? And I had two of them, but you brought up the strip club, so that chose for me. Um, Going to the strip club with your mate, would you? Wouldn't you?
Absolutely. And I've
Okay.
done it several times. Absolutely. And I would do it again. And honestly, being with someone who can't have fun at the strip club, and not really a person that I could probably be in a serious relationship with. Now, at this age, I am aging out of the strip club
Mm-hmm.
because some men don't care, but I do. I have a daughter who's 26. Now, the strip club is a young woman's game for the
Yeah,
most part,
for the most part.
right? For the most part. You find some that in their 30s or whatever, black women keep it together. But for the most part, it's a young woman's game. And when I have daughters who are 26, 24, 22, personally, myself, I don't feel right getting a lap dance from a young woman who's the same age as my daughters. Now I've been in the strip club and I've told women that, and they like, some of them have said, very few of them have said, you know what, I respect that. Most of them are like, man, get the fuck out of here, dude. You better get this lap dance. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. They almost think I'm a cop in the strip club, Tay, because I'm like, I'm that idiot who's like, how old are you? You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, 24. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't. They'd be like, man, if you don't get the fuck, they're like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I
Can't do
can
it.
understand that.
But back in the day, um, and if I think there's a strip club that's going to have more mature women there, yeah, definitely would go with my lady because normally you go to the strip club with your lady, and especially if she's cool with interacting with women, she don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have to have sex with them, but if she's cool with getting a lap dance, smacking her ass, touching boobs or whatever, or letting her boobs be touched, typically y'all will go home and have a bomb ass session because that sexual energy is built up and
Mm-hmm.
it usually works out to be a pretty nice evening.
Okay.
What about you?
Yes, I would go to strip club with the guy. I have many times. I shouldn't say many times, but a few times. No, let me take it back. I can say I can't say many times. There was a crew I used to hang with, and we used to hang at this one strip club back in the day. So, so yeah, we will.
Is that the one that I went to?
Yes, it is.
Great time with that one too. Shit. The Hole in Wall Strip Club. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Shout out to Philly. But so TJ said yes, yes, and yes. I guess that's to her going to a strip club with her man. Danielle, I definitely would and have before. It's fun. TJ said, damn, Marv, in my best Kevin Hart voice. I don't know what that comment was too, but Stephanie, does that include male strip clubs? Hell no. Stephanie. There's always somebody who got to step take it too far.
I
They
wouldn't.
yes.
I wouldn't even take a dude to a male strip club. I don't even like male strippers. So
I got a funny story before we roll out. Danielle says sessions definitely are bomb afterwards for me. Dang memories. TJ says it is foreplay. So before we go, I was a former strip club connoisseur.
hmm
Oh, let me get back to Brother Ron. Brother Ron said, "Truth, Marv. I have all daughters." Yeah, shout out to you, man. Much respect. It's just different.
Hmm.
Um, Back in the day, I was a strip club connoisseur. If I went to a city, I was hitting the strip club, and it wasn't because there's some dudes. There's different guys that go to strip clubs, right? There are dudes who go to the strip club because they are trying to have sex, which in a lot of strip clubs, like Chris Rock had the song "There's no sex in the champagne room."
Hmm.
For the most part, that's true. Now, in some cities, especially down south, there are hoe houses that function as strip clubs. And a good friend of mine told me how you can smell the difference. You can tell the difference. When you go into the ones that are a hoe house, you can smell the sex in the air, right? You can
Right.
tell that's how it's a hoe house versus just being a regular strip club. So there's the guys that go one for sex. There's the rappers and the drug dealers who want to go and show off and flaunt their money, right? And then there's the dudes like me who just like to go for the entertainment. The music at the strip club is bomb and it's
Hmm.
fun. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any misunderstand. I don't think that I'm gonna take one of them home or she's gonna fall in love with me and that she just thinks I'm so handsome. Yeah, girl, you run a game. It's cool, right? So I've been to a lot of black strip clubs across the country. Memphis is one of those cities where there's a lot of whole houses that function as strip clubs.
Okay.
So me and my boy went into one and it was kind of empty and we sat down. And they had some curtains set up, in the back, right? Separating the strip club. So we just sat down in the front, right? Because we was like, hey, look, we want first hand view. We want to be able to touch. All of a sudden, two waitresses ran out and snatched us up and drug us to the back. And I was like, oh shit, we about to get robbed. Like, because we are in Memphis, right? Whatever. It was male stripper night.
Oh.
And how they were trying to separate it was by, okay, we had the guys like women behind the curtain and the women and the guys, and the women and the guys like guys in front of the curtain. And I was like, you know what? Y'all should have told people that before we walked in there though. Because we would have
Right.
sat down and then there'd been some dudes dancing and somebody with a sauce, and there ain't no way we could explain our way out of that shit. No way. No way. Yeah, but that was a setup. But anyway, I got strip club stories for days, man. Tell me where they can find us.
You can find us at Conversate After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, you can even be anonymous. Or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at CVAD the podcast at gmail.com. Make sure you like this video, share it, and subscribe, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about our show.
Yeah, you can be a guest or you can guest host. You want to
Yes.
come and share any conversation, help us host the show, shoot us a line, we'll have you on here. You gotta show your face though. But anyway, go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. We'll have you this time. Peace.
Bye.